The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read. Your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
And finally tonight, the legacy and life of John Lewis, the civil rights legend and 17-term congressman from Georgia, passed away late Friday at 80 years old. The tributes tonight for a man who devoted his life to racial justice and equality.
Welcome to the Daily Read, and I'm your host, Marcus Gentry. Today I was going to do a tribute to John Lewis, a man who's a legend, one of the first of the 13 members of the Freedom Riders. These are men and white men also. It was 7 whites, 6 blacks, who were dedicated to desegregating bus rides and went on a mission to ride from D.C. to New Orleans integrated at the risk of their life. About John Lewis's life is that legacy is important, and the legacy of America going my life, like so many other civil rights activists and civil rights leaders of the 60s and 70s. He affected all of our lives, period, whether you're white or black. And the reason I say this is because there were laws put on the books, laws that would stop a white woman from marrying a black man or a black woman from marrying a white man. And a lot of babies wouldn't even be born to this day. A lot of friends wouldn't be able to go sit at a cafe being white and black and have a cup of coffee together if it wasn't for men like John Lewis. He's an icon. And I think a lot of us have fallen to trickery, the want of money, fast money, and a lot of things that have taken the place of standing up for what is right. And when he died, it seemed like it was almost like the changing of the guard. But it's a catch to that. And the reason why I say it's a catch to that is because when you change the guard from the old to the new have to do things almost the same but better. And I don't see right now too many people stepping up. Obama, we still have him around. He steps in sometimes to say a few things. And there are a few people out there. I see Big Mike. He's starting to do big things. Even T.I., he makes a lot of sense sometimes. But we have a multitude of millionaires and billionaires that are black in this country. And they became that way through their hard work. But their hard work would have meant nothing without the lives and people of John Lewis. The man was born in 1940 to parents who were sharecroppers in Alabama. And coming from a background like that to being a congressman for 13 terms, 17 terms, that's a big deal. And he fought all the way up until the day he died. This is important. And the reason why it's important is because legacy means so much. Legacy means so much to the point where you have white people out here who are willing to fly a Confederate flag even though they know that it offends us as minorities. Take pride in your legacy. Take pride in your legacy. Those are the things that John Lewis taught me just by watching him throughout the history of his life. And we all need to step up and do our part. I want everybody to listen to his speech. Listen to his speech and then sit back and think about the things he's saying and how it relates to the day. Just spend 5 to 7 minutes and listen to his speech that he did. He was the youngest delegation that went on and stood at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial with Martin Luther King Jr. He was the youngest, and gave a powerful speech that was almost as powerful as Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech. And the best part of his speech was that we are tired of police officers hurting us and locking us up for nothing. We are tired of not having equal wages. We want it, and we want it now. Those were the best moments of his speech. And what's sad about it is the things he talked about then still resonates to this day. We still in the fight to stop white supremacy and systemic racism. Some of us that make a little money have forgot to fight because you feel like you good now. But what you don't realize is that there are people out here that will do something to you still, or your kids. The best part about Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, when I heard his whole speech, entire speech, was when he said, we lost our religion, our culture, our gods, and many of us have even lost our minds. That was so powerful. And it went over a lot of people's heads. But his speech rings true to this day. How you got people like Candace Owens and Kanye West and Diamond and Silk and the multitudes of minorities who I've run across over the last 2 or 3 months that'll say, man, you know, Donald Trump, you know, he's done good, man. No. That lets me know your morality is in question. Because you let a few coins extra that you get in your pocket make you set aside your morality. Remember what I said about legacy. Your morality means so much more than a few coins. If I knew a man hated me, my color, my skin, and my race, I don't care if he's good for the economy or not. I don't want him. Because I have strong morals. Period. I don't want him. I don't want to deal with him. People who sacrifice their morals for a few coins, they're going to wind up with people turning their back on them and broke anyway. In the end, it always happens. It always happens. I'm gonna give you guys this speech, and I want y'all to really pay attention to it. And then I'm gonna come back and close out at the end of it.
Pleasure to present to this great audience young John Lewis, National Chairman, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Brother John Lewis.
We march today for jobs and freedom, but we have nothing to be proud of. For hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here, for they're receiving starvation wages or no wages at all. While we stand here, there are sharecroppers in the Delta of Mississippi who are out in the field working for less than $3 a day, 12 hours a day. While we stand here, there are students in jail on trump-up charges. Our brother James Farmer, along with many others, is also in jail. We come here today with a great sense of misgiving. It is true that we support the administration's civil rights bill. We support it with great reservation, however. Unless Title 3 is put in this bill, there's nothing to protect the young children and old women who must face police dogs and fire hoses in the South while they engage in peaceful demonstration. In its present form, this bill will not protect the citizen of Danville, Virginia, who must live in constant fear of a police state. It will not protect the hundreds and thousands of people who have been arrested upon Trump charges. What about the 3 young men, Snickfield Secretary in Americus, Georgia, who face the death penalty for engaging in peaceful protest? As it stands now, the voting section of this bill will not help the thousands of black people who want to vote. It will not help the citizens of Mississippi, of Alabama and Georgia, who are qualified to vote for lack of 6th grade education. One man, one vote is the African cry. It is ours too. It must be ours. We must have legislation that will protect the Mississippi sharecropper who is put off of his farm because he dared to register to vote. We need a bill that will provide for the homeless and starving people of this nation. We need a bill that will ensure the equality of a maid who earns $5 a week in the home of a family whose total income is $100,000 a year. We must have a good FEPC bill. My friends, let us not forget that we are involved in a serious social revolution. But by and large, American politics is dominated by politicians who build their career on immoral compromise and ally themselves an open form of political, economic, and social exploitation. There are exceptions, of course. We salute those. But what political leader can stand up and say, my party is a party of principles? For the party of Kennedy is also the party of Eastland. The party of Jarvis is also the party of Goldwater. Where is our party? Where is the political party that will make it unnecessary to march on Washington? Where is the political party that will make it unnecessary to march in the streets of Birmingham? Where is the political party that will protect the citizen of Albany, Georgia? Do you know that in Albany, Georgia, 9 of our leaders have been indicted, not by the Dixiecrats, but by the federal government for peaceful protest? But what did the federal government do when Albany Deputy Sheriff beat Attorney C.B. King and left him half dead? What did the federal government do when local police officials kicked and assaulted the pregnant wife of Slater King and she lost her baby? Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now. We are tired. We are tired of being beaten by policemen. We are tired of seeing our people locked up in jail over and over again. And then you holler, be patient. How long can we be patient? We want our freedom, and we want it now. We do not want to go to jail, but we will go to jail if this is the price we must pay for love, brotherhood, and true peace. I appeal to all of you to get in this great revolution that is sweeping this nation. Get in and stay in the streets of every city, every village and hamlet of this nation until true freedom comes, until the revolution of 1776 is complete. We must get in this revolution and complete the revolution. For in the Delta of Mississippi, in Southwest Georgia, in the Black Belt of Alabama, in Harlem, in Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, and all over this nation, the black masses are on the march for joy and freedom. They're talking about slow down and stop. We will not stop. All of the forces of Eastland, Barnett, Wallace, and Thurman will not stop this revolution. If we do not get meaningful legislation out of this Congress, the time will come when we will not confine our march into Washington. We will march through the South, through the streets of Jackson, through the streets of Danville, through the streets of Cambridge, through the streets of Birmingham. But we will march with the spirit of love and with the spirit of dignity that we have shown here today. By the forces of our demand, our determination, and our numbers, we shall splinter the segregated South into 1,000 pieces and put them together in the image of God and democracy. We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient.
I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all sat back and really paid attention to that man's speech, because it was so real. It was so real. And everything he said in it still rings true to this day, which lets you know that even though we've made great progress, there is still a system that was bubbling up under the surface that was meant to suppress us, because he said those words in the 60s. Television screens were still black and white. And the stuff he was saying in the 60s, you could take those words of his speech, John Lewis's speech, and apply them to what's going on today with Donald Trump and the masses of secret police that he's putting in the streets. I'm gonna leave this as one of my shows that's gonna be in the archives for my generation. I put all my stuff in my file cabinet for my kids and grandkids and great grandkids, so they can look back on my videos and look back on my notes and understand that there are some of us out here who still care. And there are some of us out here who are not going to let the legacy die with the death of John Lewis. Rest in peace, man.
Get out there and push and pull until we redeem the soul of America.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.